With your latest news, I'm April Cummings. Government announces a shorter quarantine period for incoming travelers. Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Solins has more.
Quarantine will soon become a little more bearable.
I am able to announce today that from the 22nd of March, the required quarantine period will be reduced from 14 to 10 days for those who have completed a valid vaccination program at least 2 weeks before traveling to the Cayman Islands, provided that everyone in their quarantine group has also been vaccinated.
Honorable Premier Alden McLaughlin says this comes as Cayman reaches a milestone.
We have now vaccinated well over 91% of those in our population over the age of 60.
However, other requirements must be met.
That a traveler must provide a negative PCR test that was taken no more than 72 hours prior to departure. A negative PCR test is also completed when arriving on island, and the traveler is staying in a group where all people have received a full course of the vaccination, and that to be released from quarantine, the traveler must receive a negative PCR test.
Across the 3 islands, almost 28,000 doses have been given.
I can further report that some 31% of our population of around 65,000 people have received at least one dose, and 15% have had a full course. We would need to have 70 to 80% of all residents fully vaccinated to allow us to safely open up our borders while keeping other protections in place.
For Radio Cayman News, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
And a check of the COVID-19 dashboard, 172 COVID-19 tests carried out since Tuesday. All are negative for SARS-CoV-2. There are 696 people in isolation right now. To date, 29,892 COVID-19 vaccines have been administered. That's 30.8% of the estimated population that's received at least one dose of the vaccine. 9,844 people have completed the 2-dose course. His Excellency Governor Martin Roper announces the final deliveries of COVID-19 vaccines for the islands. Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego has more on that.
So far, the UK has sent Cayman 38,000 vaccine doses. Tomorrow, Governor Roper announces approximately 20,000 additional doses will arrive on the British Airways flight from London. Governor Roper says a further 20,000 doses will be arriving on the March 25th BA flight.
And then I'm pleased to be able to announce that we will say is the final delivery of approximately 23,000 doses is expected on the BA flight on the 7th of April. And as I've said before, these vaccines will continue to be supplied free of charge, and all of them are the Pfizer vaccine.
After the final delivery on March 7th, Governor Roper says Cayman will have received over 100,000 doses, enough to vaccinate the entire adult population of 50,000 people in Cayman.
So that means that by early May, all of those over the age of 16 who want to be vaccinated could have had a second dose of the vaccine. I think this is a fantastic achievement, especially as the supply of vaccines around the world remains such a challenge.
Reflecting on the last year, Governor Roper says it's been an incredible long year and a tough one for everyone. The community in Cayman has really rallied around, he says, and we can all be proud of the progress made.
On 13th of March last year, we closed schools across our islands. On the 22nd of March, we closed our borders. If anyone had said last March that by May this year we would have a safe, reliable vaccine against COVID and we could have vaccinated all adults in the Cayman Islands over 16, not many of us would have believed it. So we have come a long way, but that achievement is within our grasp. And as a community, I hope it's an opportunity that we will all grasp.
Governor Roper urges all to take the vaccine when invited to do so, as the vaccine rollout gives us much hope and confidence for the future. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
The Health Ministry approves another round of assistance for health insurance premiums for displaced Caymanian workers, especially those in the tourism and hospitality industry.
The program is scheduled from March through June 2021. Unemployed workers from the tourism and hospitality industry are encouraged to access the program if in need of assistance. For persons who did not apply in time for the March assistance, the deadline to submit an application to the Health Insurance Commission to obtain assistance commencing from April 1st is on March 19th.
Health Minister the Honorable Dwayne Seymour says to date, the Health Insurance Commission has vetted 165 applications, recommending assistance to approximately 984 people. 4 candidates for Northside tackle the issues at the Chamber's Candidates Forum Tuesday night. Justin Ebanks on effective government.
And if we can work together, we can make things happen. But it all starts with having the experience, the working knowledge of what needs to get done, and then incorporating the people's voice.
Deborah Broderick on priorities for the District of Northside.
We need to put more programs in place for youth. Our youth feel like they're displaced. They have no belonging, some of them.
And incumbent Ezard Miller outlines his approach to governance.
When elected on April the 14th by you Northsiders, I pledge to continue to practice participatory democracy, to allow everyone to be involved in the governance of Northside and the Cayman Islands.
And now Jay Ebanks responding to a question about whether voters should be allowed to recall an elected official.
I do support a recall for members of Parliament, but I also do support a runoff, because I don't see why somebody should be in Parliament that only gets 30% or 33% of the voters. You should at least have to get at least over 50% to represent them. So I think we should have a second runoff in case of things happens like that.
Tonight's forum highlights the candidates of Prospect and kicks off at 7:15 p.m. You can see it on Radio Cayman's Facebook page and YouTube channel. All forums are available at caymanchamber.ky, as well as on the Chamber's YouTube and Facebook pages. Cayman is getting a new representative in the United Kingdom. Details from Radio Cayman's Carsley Fuller.
Following a recent recruitment process, the Ministry of International Trade, Investment, Aviation and Maritime Affairs has appointed Dr. Tasha Ebanks Garcia to represent Cayman in the United Kingdom. The UK representative leads the Government Office of the Cayman Islands, based in London, and oversees the staff there. The office advances the interests of government and people of Cayman by facilitating interactions with elected leaders via Cayman's all-party parliamentary group, representing Cayman within the UK Overseas Territories Association, promoting investment in Cayman, fostering understanding of Cayman's unique economy, heritage, and culture, and providing services to Caymanians overseas, primarily students. Dr. Tasha Ebanks Garcia.
As a multi-generational Caymanian and a former Miss Cayman Islands, I look forward to representing the Cayman Islands overseas, not just as a civil servant, but as a member of our community. Undoubtedly, Cayman faces numerous challenges, but also has a myriad of possibilities through developing closer ties with the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. In that context, I'm truly honored to represent my country and my government.
In addition, new Cayman Islands government offices are set to be set up in North America, Europe, and Hong Kong this year. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Carsley Fuller.
That is your latest local news from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.